This is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. Listen to past shows of Blog Talk Radio. But of course, the phone number is right there. Text me for any frequencies in reference to 101 lessons, 101 monthly lessons, of course, work. However, 101 lessons will start this month. I will keep you posted, most likely the middle of the month. As you already know, that art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art, and wayward is about that revenge, redemption, and responsibility and that work. However, hopefully this will be really quick because it's a lot of dysfunctional witchcraft going on in this universal soul. It's a lot of frequencies going on, and you don't know which way to go. It was very interesting. I seen somebody in my comment, and I will block your ass, but I know some of you guys are simpletons and will come back and, just create a different post or whatever. But I seen something very interesting because the person had troubles with what I was reporting. I am a reporter. I'm reporting the news, and I am putting something on the table to make people think and think about different frequencies instead of one way of thinking, which is the world, right? I cracks up when people put something in the comments and basically want me to reveal or quote my sources. And I thought about that. I'm an occultist. I don't have to quote shit, and I don't have to give you my sources. And it's like a thesis. I have a lot of people who have their masters and PhDs, okay? And I remember one person, she was going through it, and I was with her all the way when she was doing her masters into her PhD. And the energies that she was going through when she did her own research, her own struggle, her own sweat and blood for her own research, for them to come back for her PhD and say, we need you to quote some, we need you to quote some sources. That's an insult. And that is disrespectful. And I just told this to a person yesterday. I said, if I'm researching my information, literally going out there, talking, interviewing, and so on, why are you asking me through my research to quote researches from other people's research? Is that white people trying to make you be repped? Is that white people showing their true colors that they steal? You have, again, African people writing PhDs, thesis, or their what's it, their, is it connotations or whatever? You have this going on. Indians always steal. Asians always steal. We're not talking about that. But black people don't steal because we are the creators. We are the inventors. We are the STEM. And I understand when I'm talking about a lot of things that's above your pay grade, you don't get it and you need sources. Or is it the fact if I was a man, you wouldn't be asking for any of this? If I was Dr. Umar Johnson and all the rest of these niggas out here, your Tariq Nasheeds, you be eating it up. If my black ass was under ritual and under a ranch, y'all be eating it up because you would love to see a man behind a woman. Like, okay, yeah, she's copacetic because she got a man right there. That's what it is. But you guys are so stupid that you don't understand it's the woman that give permission for the man to even have the word. That's y'all black women problem. You don't know your place. Because a black woman, especially a black woman, could make or break a male. A man cannot make or break you. Especially if you have sons. That's why you have these niggas out here talking about, I mess with other cultures because they make me feel like a king, because niggas could be broken. That's why melanated black women are so important. Not trans, not cross-dressers, not queens. Because we didn't sat up and want to be called a queen, but not knowing that we're being called a man. That's above your pay grade. They treat me the way I want to be treated because men are little boys. Women are not immature little girls. We became that way once we became under the ruling under men. And as women, we didn't disrespect our man. We just understood his thought process. A man cannot take care of the household and go out and handle his business as a man. That's why they say, well, I need you at home to be the woman. A woman can handle the household, children, and work and have a fucking business at the same fucking time. And then turn around and be fucking pregnant and have another baby. That's why that energy of called the backbone. That's why it's so important for black women to be the best mothers that they can be to their daughters and sons. That's why me and the spiritual constituents was talking about Islamic women, especially the ones who wear the garb. They're dangerous women. Because they teach their sons to be motherfuckers. We're more scared of the men, but we're not scared of them women. And let me get it right. I'm just talking metaphorically scared. Because some of y'all be like, I'm not tripping off of them. I'm above your pay grade, so I understand that y'all don't get it. And when I'm reading these messages and the data, you guys believe a lot of shit out there to be true. I cracked up when I was looking at a reel of that Erica chick from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I think it's a Jilly or whoever her name is. She admitted that she's white. I guess she's white and Chinese or something, right? We have a lot of that going on. However, somehow Cher walked into the room, meaning the concept of Cher, who she is. And somebody, I think, mentioned at the table her being native. And Erica, of course, the white woman, in so many words, I'm paraphrasing, that bitch is not native. That bitch comes from, I think she said from Armenia or whatever, from some European country. And pointed out what desert part of California she's from. I said, bitch, but you can't tell nothing to somebody because they said the sources and they told us, and the sources and they told us. Do you know people believe shit but forget shit? It's rumored and walking around here that Dolly Parton's husband died of 60 years. And I'm very much confused because I said, what husband of 60 years? I thought she divorced him. Did she get a nigga divorce? Because did we forget that Dolly Parton went lesbian and supposedly got a whole woman and married the woman? This was some years back. Did we forget about that part? Isn't it very interesting how social media and how they cyberpunk you and then erase your data in your brain and then bring you something else new, telling us about a death of somebody? And I'm like, wait a minute here. Dolly Parton is a whole lesbian. Didn't y'all say she was a whole lesbian now? Now, are you saying this is her ex-husband who died? And they were married for 60 years. Or are you trying to tell me that this woman is currently married to this man and this is a nigga divorce, and when they forced her to date this woman and marry this woman, because I bet you they erased all of the cyber data, all of the stories of Dolly Parton being a lesbian coming out, especially when they was pushing that gay marriage energy. Matter of fact, where is Dolly Parton? Is she still alive? Allegedly. Is she still alive? So where is she? Because don't tell me no bullshit like that when I know that woman was supposed to have been a whole lesbian. Now, some of y'all may say, oh no, that was just for giggles and laughs because she supports the gay community. Nah, they put that on that senior citizen back then. Just like that weird shit that I was looking at. What's that chick from the American Horror, and she all involved with that old lady. I said, is she licking her vagina? What's going on here? That's an old bitch. I think she was one of the witch supremes or supreme witch. And she married to that old actress, or she with that old lady, that old actress. Yeah, I saying it like it is. Because that shit look interesting. I said, she couldn't be. Is she just with her because she's stealing energy? But you would swear that information and the source you get it from is copacetic. That's why you guys out here stuck on stupid. It also made me think about what I was talking about with Black history. When I was going down with all of the inventors. And more as I was reading the inventors, I said, how dare they, through our ancestors, come back around and try to block us from STEM, engineering? And we created the world, the White House, everything from toilet paper to sanitary napkins, to refrigerator, to the oven, to the stove, to the ice, to the everything. What the fuck did y'all do? And it shows more and more the incompetencies of these other people and how they come into the melanated Black people energy and steal the souls of everything, and don't let them be Brokeback Mountain. And they have more money, and they monopolize on the inventions. I remember seeing something where the Hindustans, aka the Indians, were over there in Congo, and I keep talking about this. And they go over there to Africa, they push them in Africa, then they bunch up together and then research and learn different frequencies of the melanated culture over there and their inventions and everything. Didn't y'all remember a couple of years back of that story that came out about them Hindustans/Indians that stole the inventions and the business from the Nigerian sisters, the twins? And I think one took sick and they came in and stole the whole energy and then left them for broke. There is nothing on this earth that have not had Black people, melanated people involved, from European culture to the supposed African culture to the American culture. It is the disrespect and the audacity for American people to say we don't have a culture. American Black people, we have a culture. So when somebody asked me that stupid ass question, then what is Black people in America? Bitch, you seeing it. Because everybody else around the world basically emulate the Black Americans, okay? Then we over here pulling from everybody else because we don't understand who in the fuck we are and what we create. That's bottom line. So anyway, we have all these motherfuckers going into all these different parts of the Caribbean islands and so on, and stealing the culture and foundation, creating mineral mines and enslaving people to work for their shit. So it makes me think about AI, GPT chat, and then this new prison frequency of basically making prisoners into cyborgs to lessen their time. They've been researching and trying to do that for almost about 4 to 5 years, even longer. So we can understand how in prison that they take inmates and basically do these experiments on them, because that's the number one place to do experiments, is basically in prison. To be honest with you, I believe that's where that whoop wop started, in prison, and they wanted to see how it mutates and manifests even more. Not only do they do experiments on dogs, they will do it on prisoners because they feel prisoners are less than and just myths and misfits, and basically they're not human. So they'll do anything over here. So now they want to create this new atmosphere and try to put a chip in the brain of an inmate or a prisoner to change the focus. Now that is very interesting because they've been doing that. And I said, and you have to hope that they don't malfunction. But when I'm talking about all of that energy, since you want my sources, the bottom line is that I believe that black people created GPT. I believe black people created AI. And I believe this augmentation of prisoners was created by black people. They've always stealed inventions. We're always part of STEMs. And now they want to push us out of STEMs, recreate this history of today to make like we ain't did shit in the past. That's why they want to get rid of black history and all this energy. We have to understand when you sit up and ask for sources, it's right in front of your motherfucking face. Stop playing with me with that dumbass shit. Out here creating cloned robots and shit with tissues similar to human beings where they can go in and do surgeries and have the same bone structures and movement of fingers. You playing? So a lot of you dummies be like, well, in the European culture and the Japanese and Chinese, they're the creators. Then we have the Indians coming in with their inventions. They're thieves. Japan is a thief. China is a thief. Europeans are a thief. Indians are a thief. They steal all from melanated people, get the resources, and then build it up or kill the individuals so they don't speak on their inventions. Allegedly. When I talk, men have to speak for you to believe. Somebody asked me the question, I think it's called the Yukub, Y-U-K-U-B. I remember, I have not researched that, but I had my own synopsis when I initially seen it. And then I heard the connection, of course, with the Nation of Islam, with Elijah Muhammad and the concept and the theory. Now, I looked at it through the lens of me just being nosy, science, and a Cancer. But then I started really looking at it and researching different artifacts. So in my opinion, I do believe the people existed. They're even in the Bible of being around. However, it depends how you look at it, because it appears that it's mostly in the majority men. However, we have to be careful when they keep showing a whole bunch of men, because that means there's something else interfering, dominating the culture. So when I looked at it and I started kind of, connecting the dots, I noticed that different culture of seeing different carvings, artifacts, artwork. I see it mostly in Ethiopia, but I also noticed it in Connecticut, New York, and also South America and Central America. And especially when you start researching certain frequencies at Yale, you start seeing different artifacts that look like them. But if you go further, Ethiopians have that original energies of looking like they're having the same frequencies. In my research, and I didn't research it all the way, and I hear what Elijah Muhammad or whoever else is doing this study, it makes me believe, in my perception, in my theory, is that before they named it Africa, if we called it Ethiopia, Nigretia, Niagara, whatever you want to call the original energies, I'm going to remove the energies of Africa, and I'm going to say the whole Ethiopia. I believe those were the original people. And then it moved out into different frequencies, because those drawings that they showed them people, I've seen it in artifacts. I don't think it's so far-fetched, but that's more of a study because they hit it. Okay? And if you look at a lot of Ethiopians, even Eritreans, they have the same energy. Okay? So That's something to research even more, but kind of expand the research. That's all I'm saying. And I need to research maybe a little bit more. But again, I remember seeing it being brought into, was it the yucca? Because then what happens is that Moorish energy end up intertwining, which the Moorish energy is separate from the yucca, but then it seemed like the yucca turned into the Moorish energy. Then it got lost. Because you will also find that same frequency also in West Africa. Okay, so as for their philosophies and the scientific frequencies and how they move in culture and so on, I believe there was a culture of that, yes. But I believe the continent of what we call today Africa was it, but they came in and shifted, changed the name, and killed them off, or have them some in some kind of scientific space being, kind of, incubated. We want them to be on the mothership somewhere and come and get our black asses. That's what we want. Because we want to prove our existence on this universal soul, but the bottom line is that they killed them off. These frequencies, which is the original frequencies of Enoch, which is all these wifey people, they are destructive. Okay? For real. They're destructive energies, right? But however, it's very interesting about humans. And when we talk entities and deities, right? And right now, and I had to kind of work through it, trying to work through some frequencies here. And Satan, Lucifer, the devil, satanic, Luciferian, and devil worshiping. I've really studied the energies, and people don't understand the difference between Satan, Lucifer, and the devil. Okay? And there's been a lot of confusion. Even I've been confused because due to Christianity kind of merging and combining the frequencies together. So as simpletons and people being practical, we tend to do that. But when you make it simple, and start to look at the frequencies, let's just kind of go into the world, right? They give us a picture of what Satan looks like. They give us a picture of what Lucifer looks like. They give us a picture of the devil. And all three, they have them merged together. However, these are different entities, different deities, different gods, different lords, different angels, however you want to call it, right? But as I really start to look at the world, and people look at the entertainment world as satanic, the entertainment world is not satanic. Even I had to correct myself. I seen someone in my comments that talked about and feel that they have analyzed me. And analyze me in a way of I call evolution through occultism. What I believe then, you believe I don't believe now, and I have certain practices. Okay? How about instead of trying to analyze and try to pinpoint who Wayward is, understand when it comes up to occultism, you should always evolve and to have better understanding, especially within the culture. So you cannot pinpoint what I do and what I know and what I believe in even now. That's why I talk about people who throw tarot cards, and that is a very different specimen. I understand tarot is different from Bohemian tarot and satanic tarot and tarot of the air. And that's why I said social media killed the rock star, because it made you too close to the rock star. That there aren't any more stars. I can't even be a fucking occultist without somebody trying to read the fuck out of me. But that's only because you don't value my skills, because you believe that you can do it better. That goes back to sources. jealous hoes. Anyway, looking at the frequencies from my philosophy and my theory, we have always been under the devil. The devil is a liar. The devil is very strong. We just being metaphoric. The devil is very strong, and we underestimate it. So before Satan kicked Lucifer out of the heavens, Lucifer ran to the devil and worked hand in hand. And fire magic, right? But Lucifer is so prideful and arrogant, he don't even see, or she, being used by the devil. The devil had Lucifer believe it is Christ, an imposter, and kill itself to come back. To have a new breed of motherfuckers that follow underneath that. This is above your pay grade. So we are being ruled by the devil. And the devil is a liar and using everything and everyone. See, you guys are out here, Anton LaVey, Aleister Crowley. I was listening to something about with Bob Dylan. Y'all merge that together as being satanic. Their whole works is the devil worshiping. They're devil worshipers. You guys out here see all these motherfuckers practicing pig magic under devil worshiping. We look at whites, third world motherfuckers, Mexico, Mexicans, all of them devil worshiping. But we never look at Lucifer as just pride and talk a whole bunch of air. Because as much as people want to be famous, everything else under Lucifer, but you're still devil worshiping. These are my philosophies. I don't give a fuck what you think. You can say what you want to say. And I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're right. I'm just going to look at it for what it is. Because over here, I have the devil card. And then over here, you see what I have. So I'm speaking real, speaking right. We have all done devil worshiping. If I'm having abortions and getting rid of my babies, bitch, I'm a devil worshiper. You drinking, drugs, all of that, you're a devil worshiper. Same sex, you're a devil worshiper. Cheating on your husbands, you're a devil worshiper. Robbing, stealing, and everything, you're a devil worshiper. And then you tried to come in as Lucifer to and this is that. Orgies, sex parties, threesomes. You're a devil worshiper. You want to get into the music industry and actors and be all in, you're a devil worshiper. You're not satanic. You're a devil worshiper. Because you make a deal with the devil. Then when the devil comes and collects, it humiliates you. It embarrasses you. It brings you down to nothing. Then you keep scratching and fighting to get where you need to go again. And the devil will not let you do that because it needs its sacrifice. It let you live for 3 years, right? The devil even favors some people and let you live for a minute. But you want to be a star so bad and want to have star power, you do anything for it to be in the industry. Even if the industry insults you. And then turn around and say, they took my royalties. Code for dope boy, dope girl. Allegedly. We just talking, we just having conversation, right? White lies, black lies, you a devil worshiper. The church, Jesus, you're a devil worshiper. You are a devil worshiper. That's why it was so easy for that influencer chick, or whoever she was, to be on the Tamara Hall show praying. Because they all devil worshippers. They worship the devil. Only the devil could use Lucifer to get on cyber air and social media and pray to persuade. And then lie to you in your face. Only the devil will have you believe that Black China is a newborn Christian. Meanwhile, she driving around in white vans. And we just seen her at a fucking hotel pimping a white girl. But hey, that's above your pay grade, okay? We all out here fucking devil worshiping. And don't want to admit it. If you in politics, bitch, you a devil worshiper. And the devil know it. How many times have I worked these jobs because I wanted to be so bad and acknowledged and get respected? And the devil gives me the job and I get the job, and then afterwards I crumble. And feel misunderstood and mistreated. How many times? Your mother is a devil worshiper. Your father is a devil worshiper. Your grandma is a devil worshiper. I was a devil worshiper when I was angry with my kid's father and took it out on my sons. You know, you black women out there that be fucked up towards your sons, embarrassing them, humiliate them. That's the devil. The devil will bring you up and tear you down. You know, you mamas out there competing with your daughters. Don't care what happens. You parents out there got your ass on fucking dope, and now your kids are in this world fucked up, black people. You let the system come take your kids without a fight. Because you let your own fucking demonic demons come talk to you. I was assaulted as a child. Let me get on this crack cocaine. And birth thousands of children who are addicted to crack cocaine, so their bone structure and mental capacity is kaput. Then as they get older, they end up on drugs and in them streets and fucked up. You're a devil worshiping mother if you sat up and dressed your sons in skirts and shit like that, and you agreed with the school system that it's okay. They're just exploring. We just talking. As we under this dysfunctional witchcraft, it's so demonic out here and devil worshiping. The Ku Klux Klan tricked us. And in my last video, I studied the slave ship. And I said, damn, this diagram of the slave ship, I said, is cold. And if you look at the style of the slave ship, that is modern, that is new, that is not from no earlier decades and centuries. That is from the late 1800s into the 1900s. Who in the 1900s, that ship most likely are the ones that ship probably brought in the people from the Caribbean islands into the Americas. Because when you look at the diagram and how it's built, that is not of no earlier period. That is modern day. That is the fucking, what is it, Titanic. Because the engineering was very modern. And that type of engineering, we already know who most likely they got it from. Because some of you guys were looking with Noah's Ark. We don't know what the fuck really happened with Noah's Ark. Because we got to remember, everything was attaching together at one time, the land. And all those energies was built with wood. But what type of wood? Because we understand that trees is life. I remember it was a sister some years ago. She was trying to do a tree ceremony for healing of ourselves and our frequencies and our ancestors, especially the ones that are on lynch, because trees are very important. But you know, nowadays they're creating fake trees that when you open it up, it's a whole bunch of paper inside. So you don't get the same energies, and you wondering why your ass is loosening and you having mental disorders, because the trees suck up all of that negativity that's within our brains and our pores and our souls. And we could go to a tree and just let the tree absorb the frequencies. But when you go sit on a tree now, that thing is nothing but a magnet. You don't know if it's a fucking 5G. That's why we're not out here removing those frequencies within our soul, our mind, and spirit, because the shit is out here fake as fuck, just like fake plants, fake trees, fake palm trees, all of that. Because your flowers are losing its color. It fades. Fake seeds, fake all. Right? The Ku Klux Klan and these white folks talk about that they believe in the spirit, they believe in God, they believe in all this, and then turn around will burn a cross on your lawn. And you talk about that you believe in Christ? You hate Christ, because that cross turns into an X, and the X chromosome is woman. So you went on black people's lawns to let them know we hate women and we burning that bitch. We hate your woman and anything that crosses it of the Trinity, the real Trinity. This is above your pay grade, right? And so when I go back to the slave ships, we better rethink about what that is. They was putting codes in front of our faces, and those diagrams and mapping codes come from, we don't know the Caribbean, we don't know of Americas, when they went and kidnapped the ancestors from here and then delegated them out to the universe, or from the continent. We don't know, but it's a code. And we should learn how to read it. It really takes someone who may practice Ifa. Who knows? Because when I'm looking, I said, this is a code. And this is not a white code. The Ku Klux Klan, 11-11-11, cross, X, all of that. That's a language. There are different tribes, even I call it the Cholo tribes, especially in Central in Mexico, that uses that language. There's certain parts of the continent and tribes that use Ku Klux Klan language. These motherfucking people out here then stole the whole fucking language and made it into supposed white supremacy. This is above your pay grade. But instead of you sitting your ass down learning and researching and understand certain philosophies and putting two and two together, you want, well, your source. Your source is in front of your fucking face. You don't have to go to fucking the continent to understand there's some bullshit going on. Because I'm wondering how we didn't put it together. That ship is modern. The positions and how what they showing on the diagram of how the ancestors were allegedly placed, that's code. When they show you the flip side of it and how everybody was going to be placed, that's code. And it almost looked like the chromosomes for DNA. When you look under a microscope, you will see the same energy. What is the code? Klux Klan, what is the code? What is the language? I've literally heard, I'm going to call them cholos. They call it like a cholo. I call it cholo language or Chicano. And you listen, it sounds just like that. And that weird shit where they substitute words with K and C. That also lead, like right now, and I kind of laid off of it, but I'll get back to it. I was learning Creole. And I was like, Creole sound just like French. But if you listen to some of the energies, sound like that. This is above your pay grade. Because everything you were scared of, you will find out it was always been black and melanated. Let the Ku Klux Klan rise up. Let them rise up. But do you know how to kick back? As they done stole your language. And it's cold. Ku Klux Klan, that's a code. The swastika is a code. They don't want you to know that. They want you to understand Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They want you to understand Father, Son, and man. But not the true Trinity of woman, child, and father. You see the Trinity? Because woman always is on top. Because, again, a woman can make or break a man. And the woman handles the household. A woman should never be with a man who doesn't have wisdom and will not listen to her. And then turn around to about, I'm the king of the household. Women have lost their way of power, especially black women, talking about that they soft wives. Bitch, you tripping. You ain't no soft wife. You a black woman. Ain't nothing soft about you. And there's nothing wrong with being rough around the edges. And them white men that you think you being soft, then you need to go analyze they white women, because them bitches ain't soft. Them bitches will call you nigga real quick. Those devil worshippers, stop playing. You got shit fucked up. And some of you will say, that's why she don't have a man. What you talking about? We got to analyze our men because they have a lot of issues and a lot of female issues. Everybody, that's why I said everybody is mad at a woman, especially a black woman. Everybody mad at her. Do we deserve it? Yeah. Now let's talk about some dysfunctional witchcraft and devil worshiping. Zelensky, Aquarius, Trump, Gemini, Vance, Leo. Zelensky turns into a Capricorn, into a Cancer. Vance turns into shadow self Aquarius. Oh, let me go back. Aquarius shadow self is Leo. Leo shadow self is an Aquarius. And Zelensky turns into a Capricorn. The Capricorn turns into a Cancer. The Cancer turns over here for Vance. Cancer turns into a Capricorn. But the Gemini, Trump, stays the same, which his shadow self in this world is Sag. Zelensky, Gen X, Trump boomer, Vance, a millennial. They've been trying to sacrifice these motherfuckers for a minute, right? I was very intrigued with the symbol, as they call it, the trident. And it cracks me up how all of these food companies always connected to something that's either satanic, devil worshiping, or Lucifer, or something connected to some kind of white supremacy or something that they believe in their head, right? Because, remember Trident gum? I don't even think they sell it anymore. However, people believe that the trident, the symbol that he had on his top, of military, Holy Trinity, falcon, triple candlestick, ear of rye, and bow and arrow. Then when I seen the trident on his top, I knew it reminded me of something. It reminded me of the tools they use for Ochezi. When you get your warriors, you put it in your pot, and then of course you have to feed your warriors. And so I said, oh, Ochezi. Okay, I sometimes have to go back Orisha. I carry Orishas like Christianity. I try to get away, but it uproots itself back up. So I said, oh, Ifa. Okay. And so I found it very interesting of how they were going back and forth, right? And they out here doing this special needs meeting that was going on February 28th. Keep February 28th in your coat pocket. I said, oh, they're under feminine energy. They're under the 345 degree of the devil. They're doing a humiliation. And they're speaking in Lucifer because there's colds going on with the Ukraine. And I said, but wait a minute. What woman is behind all of this? Because it seemed very white womanish. Very mean girl. Why you doing this? Why you doing that? You have to be around white girls to really understand what I'm talking about. And some of y'all do know. I said, what white woman was behind all of this shit? Because it's under the entity of the devil, because it's humiliation, but they're pulling Lucifer for the cold. But what woman? When you're around white women, they're very jealous human beings. Not allegedly, it's for show. And they will get in your business and you be minding your own fucking business. And there they are. And they have a way of talking to each other that's very interesting. And there's very few white girls that's just kind of cool. But even then, you got to be careful of those white girls. Remember, I talked about this story about those Facebook groups and how that white girl joined the black Facebook groups and then stole all the content that they were talking about and then wrote a book about it. Right? So within this 345 degree with the energies of the 10, okay, we have to understand what's going on here with these numbers and with these people, okay? So as I started listening to them and them going back and forth like children, I said they sound like little white girls, little teenage white girls, right? So for example, if you take away their mask and see who's underneath it, and you'll see a whole bunch of white women, and they go back and forth with each other. So just sit and imagine that whole bullshit, that whole skit. Saturday Night Live got it right because that was a whole skit going on. Think about some white women. Oh my God. Why are you wearing that? Every time we go out, she's always wearing this outfit. It's so disgusting. Oh, you're fat, even though you weigh 90 pounds. Look at your hair. It's how they are. I seen the whole concept. I said, oh, look at these white women. I remember when Paris Hilton clowned Kim Kardashian, and Kim Kardashian, because they were supposed to be best of friends, but now they've forced them together because no telling what the fuck Paris Hilton did. Now she's underneath, Kim Kardashian. I cracked up when Kim was like, I call you all the time, Paris. I'm paraphrasing the thing, but it really happened. I call you all the time, but you don't pick up your phone. Oh, because most likely you're calling my other number. I have another phone number, you peon. I'm not going to have you on this number. And so Kim Kardashian was like, oh. Even Chloe is a motherfucker. To the black girl that gets on my fucking nerves. I don't know, them twins. It's something about their energy that's like. And then they got on social media talking about, we've always talked like this. We've always been this way. Chloe be clowning that girl. Oh, maybe you shouldn't eat that. It's not good for you. No. And then the black girl, why? What you think? What's going on? Oh, Chloe. Because she has that mouth. It's Chloe. I'm saying, as they study us, as white women are sitting around reading about Farrakhan and all his books, and white women are reading revolutionary books written by black people and about black people, we need to study them. Because now they can get with you. Oh, are you having a nigger moment? Do you need to go back to Nat Turner and the revolution? Oh. Why? The Nation of Islam? Because you're black? You got to know how to combat that. Because that's who's running these fools right here. Didn't y'all see that white woman standing behind Trump? You see the games? You don't see how white women are all involved in this, these alt-rights? That's what I was trying to tell you back then about this. It was a documentary talking about white supremacy and Aryans in the workplace, and how they intentionally went to Harvard and Yale and all of these academic schools or whatever, or Ivy League schools, to basically fuck you over. And the number one people who are talking in this documentary were white women. So it cracks me up. Who is it? The secretary or whatever at the White House, and she does all the briefings. The 28-year-old white woman with the blonde hair. And do you see how under the Biden, they had the black Haitian chick, and they always made her and sound like she's stupid as fuck? Because they want to put the white woman back in place. They think this woman is extraordinary. She answers all the questions. Remember the crazy-eyed white woman that was sitting behind? I forgot who she was sitting behind. And she was like mouthing what they were saying. We got to study. I told you who builds a nation, who birthed a nation. That was a whole white girl fight. The other thing that's really interesting about that whole fight is that fight caused Russia and China to allegedly come in and say that they'll hire the terminated federal employees. That's a cold game, that's a cold spell, and that's a cold setup. So you fire American people replace them with little children AI, but we really don't know if they fired them because it's so much back and forth. They keep knocking down at the psychological warfare to cause trauma. But meanwhile, you have Russia and China that's willing to recruit. But within that, they want to discriminate of who comes in. And they for sure don't want black people in the military because of STEM and they too equipped. Because black people and black women have the super gene. Okay, bye. Right? Then I thought about something really, really, really closely. They've been out here traumatizing black people with all of this drama. Like that shit that was at the White House, I feel I should sue for bystanding. What's it called? Bystander lawsuit. So you understand with the bystander lawsuit, if you're traumatized and you see something horrifying, you could sue. I don't know how you could sue or how you would do that, but look it up. I want to sue for social media and cyber bystanding because I don't appreciate them putting that on the social media airwaves and affecting my brain with white women and white people issues that have nothing to do with me. They're causing me trauma and mental anguish. I don't know what to do. I don't know to be scared or depressed. I am in fear for my life because they are losing it under the devil worshiping. I don't know if these white folks are going to hurt me. I don't know what they're going to do. They're running around here calling ICE on people for no reason. And I feel that any person, including their honoraries, are calling ICE on people for no necessary, that should be a RICO case. Because I feel what I seen was a mean girl energy, but at the same time, very much gang violence. Okay? And I think anybody that's part of it, which includes those hand-picked journalists, should be under a RICO law. And any white person, and including, again, their special friends, who's part of this shit, should be under RICO. Because that's terrorism. And yes, I am in fear for my life. I don't know what's going on with these white folks. They're malfunctioning. They're tearing down and destructive, and we're seeing it right in front of us. I don't know what's going on. We may need some of the abolitionist white folks to kind of get involved because it's your people doing it. I don't know what the fuck is going on. They're intentionally targeting black people, and and we should sue them again for the Willie Lynch energy, and things are manifesting. Then their children and stuff getting on social media and saying nigger, 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 nigger. And as black people, we should save all of that social media and all of them who's doing that and put them under RICO. Because I'm like, everybody, all these white folks acting up, the white people acting up, the white girls acting up, the white children acting up, the white people acting up. They're using demonic or devil energy, rituals, humiliating rituals. So they're triggering black people that we don't know if we back in slavery. We don't know we're in the antebellum and Wardian period. We don't know back in the Coon era. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Jim Crow, Willie Lynch. I don't know. Civil rights move. I don't know. But they malfunctioning. Then we don't know the type of white people these are. Because, you know, they're letting in the Russians and Ukrainians. So we don't know what the fuck is going on here. We just know as black people, we're not being rude, but they all look alike to us. You know, sometimes we're a little rude with the Mexicans. We trying our best here, you know. But we'll say everybody Mexican. If you El Salvadoran, you a Mexican. If you Central American, you a fucking Mexican. It's just what it is. Shit, you from Brazil, you a Mexican. You know, no telling with us. You Dominican, you a Mexican. You're Puerto Rican, you're a Mexican. We're not being rude. We just ignorant like that sometimes. So with white people, we don't know what you are. We just know you white, but you fucking from a different place. But I just know these current state of white folks, they're very scary people. And we should start putting our evidence together and get in a class action lawsuit. You know what I mean? And then report them to the government or however you do RICO case, or bring it to an attorney or the DA. You know, because they just on the loose and cutting up. And again, we're in fear for our lives. You know there's something wrong when you hear Chinese people calling white people white niggers. I was like, oh my Lord, what's happening here? And the Chinese was like, you're a white nigger. You're a white nigger. And so then I'm like, well, why the Chinese people cutting up? Oh goodness, your honorary ticket then ran out, huh? So, well, y'all better save up some tickets too, because we see how you guys act. You know, when you around black people, be on some fuck shit, right? Just like that whole energy of this Asian kid that got denied from all these Ivy League colleges and stuff like that. And it has nothing to do with black people or DEI or any of that shit. You guys didn't push yourself out some shit, because who they're trying to let in are the Ukrainians and these Indians and so on. They don't give a fuck about y'all unless you a new type of Asian. So don't blame us. It's not us. Shit, we trying to fight for our lives. We're trying to fight for our shit because the Indians, aka the Hindustans, came in and then pretended to be us. Matter of fact, we need to pull a lawsuit on them Hindustans, you know, for RICO. Because that's gang violence and identity fraud. Allegedly. I'm just saying. I'm just talking. If we're going to do some devil worshiping, shouldn't y'all be on demon time? Shouldn't you be on devil time? They on devil time. This is the epitome of what I was saying about weak DNA people. And they was all in the uproar. Back when I used to say white people are weak DNA. Oh! And then I had the abracadabras come out at me. Abracadabra! Get that black bitch out of here! Abracadabra! Albadom! Magic! Come get this bitch. I'm a warlock. Let me throw some gunpowder. Bam! Crazy black bitch. Magic is for everybody, not for you niggas only, because we stole it. The Irish, the Dutch, the Nordics. Bibbidi babbidi boo, abracadabra. She called us white DNA. Allegedly. We just talking. We having a conversation, right? We just talking witchcraft. Dysfunctional witchcraft and devil worshipping. Now let's hold on to the Zelensky, Trump, Vance meeting. February 28th, dealing with the Ukrainians. Let's hold on to that. This may be in the winds, but just ride with me because I'm having a cancer moment. March 1st, 1692, Salem witch deaths and Salem witch interrogation. And we talked a lot about that Tibia and all that shit, and the people who were murdered. And we have to understand the story they tell us who was murdered, or the witches were Native black women. And then Caribbean women who came to what I called Salem, New England. Because we have to understand the name Salem is really native. And it was of a tribe in addition to of a black man's last name, Salem. And there's different parts of the United States that's named Salem. It's above your pay grade. New England was black until the motherfuckers came. Okay? March 1st, right? Angie Stone's death. Let's talk. Angie Stone death, she was born, it says 1961. Those were interesting numbers. Interesting numbers that coincide with March 1st, 1692. And I don't want to get into all these numbers, but it's just, look at something. Now, allegedly, she's from the Carolinas. And we understand the Carolinas is a whole bunch of witchery. And it also has, similar to Salem, witch trials. Because they killed and murdered the native witches that were there in the Carolinas. This energy woman, even though she got herself in the devil-worshipping neo-soul, allegedly, they say, was part of that frequency and come from the background. However, isn't it very interesting? They're alleging she died on March 1st, the day of the black interrogation and witch trials. It's above your pay grade, okay? Now let's hold on to February 28th, because I want to say happy Fat Tuesday. Even though in some parts of Louisiana, they canceled Mardi Gras. Right? Mardi Gras is different from Carnival. The undertone will say Mardi Gras is African, but Mardi Gras really came from Haiti, the island, and the original natives that were there. Which taps back into also the supposed Dominican Republic. Because remember, they brought the Haitians into the Americas, into Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, so on. They will tell us that the ship came from Nigeria, from West Africa. That isn't true. It was a ship that came from Haiti into the Gulf of Mexico. Okay? Those are lies. Now, the interesting energy, as there's some energies, as we see from the continent, we have to be careful. Everything was attached. But how about in reality, it's not the fact that there's some levitation, whatever, no dirt or whatever, insects and so on from the continent. How about it was already there? We have to, I had to reshift my brain. It's like, wait a minute. Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, all that is fucking, oh shit. But it's closer and everything is broken up. Water intervened, right? So Mardi Gras is connected to Haiti. And how come we just assume France is French. What did they steal? Because you know they steal language. You listen to some of the native people who say how they stole our language. I just told you about the Ku Klux Klan. I was listening to this woman who was talking about how the native tribes that they named was actually the language. Meaning, I'm just talking, say Blackfoot Indian, right? But that's not the original tribe name is Blackfoot. It's the language Blackfoot. And they took the language and named a tribe, and then merged them and condensed them together to create one tribe, and then put the Blackfoot Indians in with the Navajos. But the Blackfoots are not Navajos. They're really the Blackfoot, and we don't know the original name. So let's say the original name, I'm just saying, is Black Hawk. The original tribe of Blackfoot Indians, they're Black Hawks with the language of Blackfoot. Or Blackfeet. So, just like we have to restructure, we have to understand where these people come in. That's why I restructured the energies of the whole head wrap in Louisiana. And the prostitution and everything that goes on. People don't want to connect it, that was connected to Moors, and that's okay. You could remain in your blindness, right? Because we want to connect everything to Spaniards and so on. However, we don't want to connect the fact that Mardi Gras is connected to Haiti. Carnival is Caribbean, but in addition to South American, into Brazil. If you notice, Brazil and their floats is always have a discriminatory energy towards the darker skinned black. And the spiritual constituents for to be over the current energies of Carnival in Brazil, I believe. And they had these, it looked like kind of Moorish, Moroccan energy to it, the float. And pitch black figurines or whatever it is with the float. But what people have to understand, I don't believe that's just a natural racism of Brazil. I believe that was brought in by the Germans and Japanese, considering that they went and put the Germans there to work and so on. I believe taught and then also colonized a certain frequency within Brazil. Even though they say Brazil is one of the blackest and high percentage of black people. Cuba used to be that way, and you see that they didn't sat up and mixed energies over there in Brazil. In Cuba, with a whole bunch of now Chinese, in addition to Dominican Republic. They just trying to create a soul super race, right? So that's different. Carnival is different from Mardi Gras. Okay? And they need to stop trying to change Mardi Gras into Carnival. Because in a minute, the ancestors of Louisiana are going to get fucking pissed and going to shut all that shit down. And I don't understand, even though you know, of course you have your, as they say, your Zulu Indians and, what's it, the Checkapaw, all that. You know what I'm talking about. Where does it come from? I just told you Haiti had natives. That's why when we look at a lot of these Orishas, the Orishas are natives. And maybe the issue at hand with West Africa having Orishas, they mixed up everything. Maybe Ogun is supposed to be there, but maybe Ogun was really in America. Then they went and shipped y'all over there to West Africa, just like, let's say, Liberia, right? Isn't Liberia the poster child of what they'll do. I had a person who I used to work with was telling me over there in Philadelphia, there's a whole plaque talking about how they kidnapped the natives and then put them on ships. And so not only were they stealing from over there on the continent, they were stealing from America and shifting everything. I told you the devil is a liar. We've been under devil worshiping. The Civil War was under devil worshiping. So on February 28th, the same day of the Girl Scouts having an argument at the White House or whatever, the Zulu Ball in New Orleans was popping off, and you had, I think, Boosie Badass and SWV and Shantae Moore and so on. Then I think you had, so then in Mobile, Alabama, which the home, there's a fight, supposed to be the home of Mardi Gras. Angie Stone was performing there at the Mamba. I said the Mamba Ball, at the Mamba Ball, which is Haitian, right? So we had two balls rolling with the Girl Scouts cutting up in the White House. What is very interesting about the Zulu Ball is SWV being there and Shantae Moore. Shantae Moore was on R&B Divas, just like Angie Stone. Coco is a Gemini. Angie Stone is a Sag. During the verses against Escape, did we forget how Coco had an attitude and was supposed to have been fucked up because allegedly, I think outside the hotel, some boy was murdered? Interesting. Did we forget about that part? Okay. We forget Mobile, Mississippi, Louisiana's that swamp magic. The Carolina swamp magic, right? So you guys, and I'm just speaking the way I'm speaking, went to go see Angie Stone on February 28th, Mardi Gras season, melanated season. On social media, they showed us clips of her singing. And then right 13 hours before the accident. And I looked at it. I said, that don't look like Angie Stone to me. Maybe I'm tripping. For a whole year now, me and the spiritual constituents have been in debate over Angie Stone for a minute. We were just talking about Angie Stone last week. And we've been back and forth, and I've been chopping her up in the sorority. And he was saying she needs help. They took her money, because he was telling me about her and the other singer from Brownstone and royalties, and he was on, he know her, they talk, just energies, and we just been in debate over Angie Stone for a minute. And I told him, I said it's something wrong. She gonna end up dead. I said her eyes spell death. And I was saying to him, I said that's like she has kidney failure, organ failure. I said, they trying to kill her? I said, ever since that shit went down with Usher, they've been at her. This has been a conversation for a year. Y'all forget that whole shit with Usher allegedly having herpes. Makes you wonder. Remember, and I was saying it might be other shit popping off. I used to look at that person Kohinor before the change happened with him, and they did a cease and desist because allegedly somebody called from the record company telling the whole shit. I seen the shit live. I was like, what? I'm for good gossip. I'm a fool, according to the spirit, because I like gossip. I was like, what? And then next thing you know, he came back and said they did a cease and desist on my ass. But we got to be careful of Kohinor, because we don't know if he's part of the industry, because he didn't change up real good. I know somebody that used to mess around with Kohinor. Didn't he call himself Superwoman or something like that later? Anyway. Then Angie Stone was on some kind of podcast and started revealing shit about Usher. I said, uh-oh. And then they shut her down. And the next thing we know, it started looking like she was under kidney failure. And all this shit. I said, they trying to kill that woman. She know too much. So when I seen her on the stage, I said, something's up. That don't look right. So people who were at the performance are saying, we were there and they're all saying the same thing, different people. That didn't seem like it was Angie Stone. They said she was forgetting parts or whatever, her song lyrics and stuff like that. And they said they had to pull her off the stage. How come we didn't see that part? They said it almost looked like an Asian woman in a mask. Allegedly. And I said, isn't the Asians the ones who own these record companies and so on? Why wouldn't they not replace you? They good for doing that. If they own movie studios and whatever, they're good. Do y'all remember during the pandemic? And I won't keep it real. Do y'all remember? I won't say the name. Do y'all remember when it was under not COVID-19, but it was Corona? And do you remember in the hospital, I think it was the Chinese man, and he was like really sick, and he ended up turning like my complexion, maybe a little darker than me? And I was like, what is that? And remember when people's limbs were kind of going septic? But it seemed like it was some kind of experiment. I don't know. But just to say all of that, don't tell me what Chinese would not do. So this is what was witnessed, and this is what people seen. Now, this is before I even was like, whoa. Because what I'm saying is that when I seen it, I'm like, no, this is after. When I looked at her on the clips, I said, that don't look like her. I start comparing. Then even her in that orange top don't look like her. But I said, maybe I'm tripping. That's what happens when you doubt yourself and your ass is right. Because after I thought that, that's when people came out, started talking about who were there, and broke down what happened, just like this shit with Birdman, who were there, and said how he was acting up. Well, the same thing here, right? So then I said, what in the ritual is going on here? What is this energies with royalties? So, we got into a conversation about people, what are royalties, our royalties. Is royalties code for something else a little bit more sinister? Even though we understand that Angie Stone was a great artist, but she did pull from somebody else. But we can say she's rap, R&B, and all of this. Talented woman, but she got under the wrong frequencies. I was very troubled when I heard a clip of her talking about them making fun of her weight and so on. I remember back then when I heard that fucked up shit when she was at the hotel and they went and had D'Angelo partner up with Erykah Badu. And I said, wait a minute, who would ever want to be in this fucked up industry? Hey, I know what she's talking about. You know, especially how they want to dress you in some ugly ass layered shit and muumuus and you fat, or have this weird perception. When I heard her in her interview talk about she has respect for Lizzo, but then looking at Lizzo today, I said, oh wow, what's going on? Because then it made me analyze, what is that energy and enter in the entertainment world, that they are fascinated with weight instead of talent, and you're untalented and you're a joker and not taken seriously because you're fat or got weight. And I was talking to another spiritual constituents. We were talking about Christy Alley and Delta Burke and the shit they used to go through. And I said, damn, yeah, I remember when Delta Burke said she was on that fucking crystal meth. And the spiritual constituent was saying how Christy Alley was knocked down to smithereens because if she gained a pound, they were at that ass, right? I said, that's the devil, because the devil will tear you down to make you want to be part of something because nobody likes you, but it's all an illusion. There's something wrong with them. Because when I look at Lizzo, I said, oh, she look good, but is that Lizzo? Because of the cheeks. And the filters they put in. I was like, is this Lizzo? And it's not because she lost weight. It's just something about her energy. I said, oh, they're going to prostitute her? I said, oh, the devil then got her. The devil then gave her a piece and then tore her down to rebuild her. And then for the end game to get rid of her anyway. See, we got to be careful wanting to be. If something don't want you be in it, then get the fuck out of it. What's her name? Is it Leandra Johnson? The gospel singer? Is it Leandra? And how she is so troubled. And I told somebody, I said her mentors are gone. She doesn't have a mentor. And once she got on that fucking Fix My Life, that wasn't it. That was not a good energy for her, right? Yeah, Leandra Johnson, arrested in Virginia for public intoxication day after performing at the UCAP's 60th anniversary. Look, it's time for her to get out. The devil done got her. And the devil is embarrassing her. The devil is working on her. The devil knows all her secrets. And I talk about Leandra. And at the end, it's not going to end well when the devil got you. Angie Stone was with that devil. She wanted to be so bad in this industry that she would take the embarrassment and the humiliation, and she will sacrifice herself for that. I feel I have the right to talk about it, considering all these other energies coming up, that now all of a sudden she's famous now that she's dead. That's the devil. Now people, oh, Howard Hewitt, and now be sure, oh, we were supposed to come to get, no, fuck you. You should have said that shit beforehand. I'm not trying to hear no shit coming after this woman's death, because everybody knows what the fuck is going on. This is not about no royalties. This is a debt owed to the devil. Oh, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, I don't give a fuck about no numbers and all of that. I'm looking at the devil. And yes, the devil has fucking power. And once you black people stepped away from the word, the devil grew. And the devil growing more and more in people every day. Because you are able to combat the devil. And you can't combat it right now because you've lost your energies. Okay? And so I'm going to say the devil then got to her. Because once she was disrespected in the industry, and she feels that they wasn't paying her money and they were disrespecting her because of her features and size, you got to leave that alone. But she wanted to be a fucking star and famous so bad that she said, look, devil, just give me this. But she was still disrespected. D'Angelo said it well with that song from Belly, Devil's Pie. She got a piece. He got a piece. That's why he went crazy. He up there mixing devil worshiping with fucking Ifa Santeria and whatever else. That don't go hand in hand. No wonder. But he's popping up now with the Roots concert popping up, and Raphael Sadiq talk about a new album coming from, and that was announced February the 18th. Huh. Okay. That's why everybody in this industry is fucked up from film and on. This girl right here, from a child up, was sold to the devil. And they didn't even acknowledge her, apparently, at the Oscars. And I can't pronounce her last name, so don't even try it with me. Michelle Treckerberg, born 1985, died 2025, and she played in all of those look like children movies and so on. Drew Barrymore, sold to the devil. All of them sold to the devil. That's why their downfall is so vicious. Puff Daddy, the devil. If you're telling me Puff Daddy is in jail and his attorney said I ain't fucking around with him, then what type of work are they doing in jail, bitch, that they doing necromancy? Witchcraft. I'm just giggles and laughs, because you still got to prove to me that he's in there. But I'm just saying giggles and laughs, right? So if she wanted this world so bad, knowing that they treated her and not giving her what she's worth, then who's the fool? Because if you know that you wrote for all these people and you done all these things, then your paperwork should have been together. But you wanted to be a superstar so bad and famous, just for anybody, so bad, that you was willing to sacrifice your money? Well, you sacrificed your money. So don't come back now asking the devil. See, when you want your shit, you got to ask at the top. Fucking around with the devil. She angry that they did not invest in her with her weight. That they had to basically kill her. Allegedly. When you speak to older entertainers who are talking about this, they're afraid for their lives. They just like, I just want to live a quiet life. I am out of the industry, bitch. I'm on the moon. But I'm afraid of them finding me. This is real. I'm not saying who it is and what it ain't. I'm just telling you, older motherfuckers out here who are in the entertainment world are afraid for their lives. You see what happened to Gene Hackman? That sacrifice before the Oscars? And his daughter was involved in this shit? Allegedly, talk about, I haven't talked to my cousin. We've had Gene Hackman's wife, 60 plus, was mummified. That's a fucking Hollywood story. What the fuck? these locations, these balls, king cakes show up. Last year I had a king cake. I ended up getting the baby that was in it. And you see how king cakes have shifted out of the hands of black people into the hands of Vietnamese and Ukrainians. And they're talking about all up in Mississippi, not Mississippi, but in Alabama, there's a whole bunch of Ukrainians and Asians. And in Alabama, there's a whole bunch of Ukrainians making king cake. And there's some interesting allegations. Because they were talking about, did she eat or what happened? What meaning they're insinuating a little bit of crystal meth up in them king cakes. And I said, very interesting. So did they just take the power just to have a whole market to hide was really in the king cakes? And the Ukrainians are allegedly part of it, Zelensky? And they were talking about how in Louisiana, I guess this place called Smitty Oils, or whatever it is, hired Ukrainians and they want to replace them with Russians. And there's this whole shifting in energies going on. Just like all of a sudden they're talking about that the braids or whatever you use, the extensions that you use for braids, is now poisonous. Then what the fuck were they trafficking in it? What are they trying to monopolize in? Especially if now you have in Thailand and Europe and the UK and China, Japan, and all of them motherfuckers braiding hair now. People don't do takeovers unless they doing something shady. Just like you got the Chinese trying to take the frequencies of honey wine. We just talking in codes as much as possible, allegedly. So when we talk my royalties, what the fuck was really going on? When I need money, you working for the devil. Allegedly. I don't know what I'm talking about, you know. We got autism here. I don't know what I'm talking about. When there's double stories, 9 people lived, 9 people died. Which one is it? Did they live? Did they die? How in the fuck, driving down a highway, out the blue a car started, then the sprinter who could hold 12 people rolls over 3 times, not 3 times, TIMES, but 3 times. Like the time symbol, equal the cross, equal the 11, equal the woman, equal the 9, equal the 6. What? And Angie Stone is the only one. Then even, not only did it, now first they said that the truck hit the sprinter. Now it's the sprinter was basically in motion, then the truck hit it. Which one is it? They're trying to say, so it's 2 different stories. First they said, let me repeat it. The sprinter, Mercedes Sprinter, was down the highway driving. The truck hit it. Then it started turning. It was in motion. 9 people in the vehicle, so it's really 10 people were in the car, which goes back to Zelensky and that whole, the whole White House thing, which is under the number 10, which dealing with Ukraine, which you got Ukrainians in Alabama, Louisiana, making king cakes and a whole other bullshit, and somebody hollering talking about my royalties. Then they said the car was turning or whatever, flipping. Then the truck hit it. Then you see this, but we don't. The scene looked very clean. The roof looked clean. 10 people in the car. Then they said, so some rapper from old school was in the car. What? Then the manager writes an email to let people know what's going on. How come everything is done in cyber? Where is the live coverage? See, back in the day, they used to do live coverage. When we seen Teddy Pendergrass vehicle looking fucked up, you seen that shit fucked up on the news. We didn't see pictures, and we didn't see a clean scene. Some of you simpletons will say, well, maybe she didn't have on her seatbelt. Come on now. You have an old school entertainer say that's a hit, allegedly. It was a hit. If she was even in the car. So somebody asked me, a spiritual constituent, they said, do you think Angie Stone been dead? I said, if I'm saying I'm looking at her like that don't look like her, well, okay. And people who were there saying, huh? And know the truth, makes you really wonder why they don't want cell phones in these concerts anymore. Because they got to create a narrative. It's none of my business. I'm just talking. Remember in my last video, I was talking about the mules, the Indian mules, the Hindustans, how they was coming here being mules. And if you peep what's really going on in the entertainment world, it's like these people can't even fucking entertain. There's always been an energy of prostitution and muling. And it's happening more and more than ever. And you're having certain frequencies of third worlds come over building studios and all this shit and buying into studios and so on and so on. That's when they was talking about even those record studios, whatever that was going on in Louisiana, promising these boys deals in rap, and these niggas out here being interesting. Talk about the Vietnamese. And we've always understood what they do. You see the biracial mayor over there in Louisiana got his ass all up in trouble and shit. Talk about, no, not me. I didn't do that. Some people were alleging, and we just talking gossip. What was really in the Mercedes Sprinter? That the truck needed to get out of the Sprinter. We just talking. Because you have to understand, Mercedes has been in a lot of drama and a lot of criminal activities. From Carly Russell, the red Mercedes, to a lot of these smash and grabs are always a gray Mercedes, white Mercedes. How they use Mercedes to get in accidents, and all of a sudden it's always an accident with the fucking Mercedes. A very detrimental. Now a Mercedes Sprinter. And some of you will be like, was that woman dead? It doesn't matter now. No, we don't know what's going on here. Because I think it's very odd that people going to be eating off of her death. This is a pretty good death right here. Pretty good. I'm kind of wondering, are they pulling a Pope Francis, meaning a Queen Elizabeth effect, that they're already dead, and I think they're going to constantly do this, which taps back into necromancy, just to hold the body. Until it's ready to come out of the truth. See, in the practical world, we're going to read the numbers. We're going to say, oh, this is that. And under the moon of Superwoman, this means this, and the star of this. Well, I will say this. During that time, Jupiter and Mars was a motherfucker, and the moon was non-existent, because that moon, for some reason, it doesn't show up. If you put an app to it, the moon doesn't show up. Is non-existent. The moon been looking real evil. What makes you think when these people don't have money, they shouldn't be paid their royalties when they muled and did the crime? And you think that you're not supposed to answer the devil? The whole industry is just muling and prostitution. Nobody just can be an act. When I go back to the 80s and I look at all those kids, Punky Brewster and all them motherfuckers, my spiritual constituents got into it with Don. Is it Don from In Vogue? You know she crazy as fuck, and she done lost her voice. She gave it to the devil. Yeah, that's it, Don. She snapped all on his ass. You think she didn't have to account for the loss of that voice? Raven Simone with that white woman who's her handler. You think Raven Simone don't have to pay the devil back? That's why that handler is there. And when something happens to Raven Simone, that white woman get everything. Raven Simone is a burrito. Angie Stone wanted to be in the industry knowing that she wasn't being paid what she was worth. Knowing she was collecting insults and disrespect. But she made a deal with the devil. So you guys are like, well, what does that have to do with the Ukraine? Well, let's look at it. February 28th was that Girl Scout meeting. February 28th was the Zulu Ball and the Mamba Ball. King Cakes and these white folks, Ukrainians and so on, are monopolizing on Mardi Gras. In Alabama, there's some energies going on, especially of how things are transported. There's alleged accusations of maybe some muling. People were complaining, saying that was not. And they felt it was odd and something was going on with Angie Stone. And the clips that they show us, it's basically misleading, allegedly. These people, from her on, can you talk about royalties. They let other people handle their finances and stuff like that. But once you've been burned once, then why would you not do paperwork? So what is really going on? You got to pay the devil. People want these big energies. It's kind of like the Andy Warhol effect. Andy Warhol, who was a special needs and case retarded, was put in place to be a gatekeeper for people who are so desperate who wanted to be stars. And that energy peeped it. And he would sit up, get these motherfuckers in, have them on dope, and then take their shit. And I always felt that Basquiat or whatever, Basquiat, I felt he was really Andy Warhol. And I think Andy Warhol was working through him. Andy Warhol was so awkward that he worked through people. And he sucked their souls. And then put them on dope and took their identities. And it was something, what's that saying? He said, people may want to be stars, but they don't have star power. That's the energy. Angie Stone technically was not a star, but famous. But she wanted star power. And when you want star power, people are easily to come up and manipulate and take advantage of you. Basically, dysfunctional witchcraft. And that's exactly what happened here. There is more to these frequencies than what we see, because what it is, what it ain't is what it is. And we have to understand the practical witchcraft and be witchery. Now, many will say, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm just saying, the people that I've been talking to, and like I said, we've been talking about Angie Stone for a minute, and I've been saying in her eyes, and I was looking at her health, and I said, that looked like kidney failure to me. Then you got I'll Be Sure talking about that, like she needed a donor. What did he say? Because we want to get this right. Well, I guess I have to paraphrase it. In so many words, here it is. I'll Be Sure posts personal messages sent from Angie Stone weeks before her death, reveals her struggle to find a donor. I know that look, that death look, when there's organ, when your organs are failing you. And it was very clear she was being poisoned. Probably more. But when I looked at it, I said, I don't know if it's liver or kidneys, but it looked like kidneys to me. Then you have Dwayne Wade with the same issue. Then her loss of weight, all of that. So, were they just using the likes of her? This is above y'all pay grade. So when I'm talking about Andy Warhol, this is what happens with those frequencies, right? This is what happens to football players, basketball players. They're so desperate to be that they end up in a sex cult. Basketball, football, and the military are the same frequencies. there's always a dysfunction in it. And it comes from a dysfunctional background. In Louisiana, they keep talking the fuck out of Devontae Smith. There's so much shit going on with that, which leads into people being exploited and more. Even law enforcement is a form of low self-esteem, right? And wanting to be so bad that you're willing to take the punishment. Because when we go back to the scene, no tires anywhere, glass. The roof is not even really sunk in. No rubberneckers. Daylight pics. Because it happened at 4. How do they know it happened at 4 and 4:25? It's still dark. No live, just pictures in daylight. That's an automatic news coming out talking about Angie Stone and recording it. None of that. No vehicles, no trucks, nobody recording anything. Because people are nosy. No ambulance. No fire trucks. No what they call the tow trucks. The truck first was on its side, then somehow it's on its tires. Which one is it? Witchcraft. Devil worshiping. When the devil calls, right? We don't know what and who these people be owing a debt to in their families. Because when I brought a Devontae Smith, there were some accusations with his father that are very interesting. And we never think that these people, parents, may be involved. I'm talking about entertainers, involved in shit. Especially when it comes up to the underworld. When I heard about Young Jock's brother, children dying in a fire, I said, what hit was that? Then you gotta sit back. What the fuck happened? Sometimes we're so simple that they'll, of course, put out royalties and a sacrifice. But sometimes we gotta lower our pay grade and say, what is the debt? If we have Regina King, I'm just talking hypothetically, I'm not saying what it is, what it ain't. If you have people saying, I went to school with Regina King's son, one of them is my client, and say, he's always been da-da-da-da. It'll be quick to say, oh, she sacrificed her son, this and that, but we never talk about the devil's debt. We never talk about the energies of even having your kids sacrificed for their organs and giving the organs back. Or giving them to someone. But we never think about Bill Cosby. Remember when Bill Cosby's son was murdered? And we was like, oh, we were all talking about it. And I remember people were talking about it back then. It was like, oh, that was a hit. We don't talk about hits anymore. Because we're so simple. We need to go back and like, ooh, what happened here? That's a warning. What happened to Angie Stone is a warning. And it's a warning to other motherfuckers. You have Biggie Smalls' mother. What did she have to owe a debt for? Kanye's mama, what is that debt for? What is it, Jasper Isley? What's that debt for? That's why I said we don't be thinking about these people parents be into shit with their star children or whatever is going on. We don't think about that. All we have to do is just watch whatever roots from this. It'll be very interesting. Just watch. You already have mediums on the loose talk about they're reading Angie Stone. No, you're not. Because that woman been dead for a minute, allegedly. Y'all is out here talking about Roberta Flack. I told you Joni Mitchell stole that voice. She had to pay a debt to the devil. And Joni Mitchell was right there to grab it. I was listening to this Alex Wagner, who's on at MSNBC, and apparently an alt-right is now the president and fired all the melanated shows on MSNBC. And I keep telling y'all, watch out. And they was talking about how she put in place to fire producers to have them reapply for positions. That's a cold game and a cold spell. There's been an energy of the Level Up Club, right? The Level Up Club is nothing but some propaganda bullshit that creates the soft woman, that creates all of this shit that don't mean nothing for black people. When I was telling the spiritual constituents, I was telling them that there's something funny about that Level Up and what's the propaganda. All these motherfuckers from Kevin Samuels and all of this and all of these people talking this persuasion of how black people should be, and it cracks me up to see podcasts of millennials and Gen Zs want to talk about it now. The bottom line is this is a propaganda for the gay community, and I'd have took you to the left. If you sit up as women, keep saying that women, you're not good enough to be a woman, then why wouldn't a man be the better woman? They come out our pussies, right? These motherfuckers sit up and watch everything and hold on to every word that you're saying, from your body to how you move and everything, and perfected it. And a man gonna do what a man gonna do. But if you up there trying to cater to a man because he wants a perfect woman, well, the man just created himself as the perfect woman. You have women out here trying to work out and body build and shape their body like a man because we got these new men out here having ass and hips and a flat belly. But guess what, women? You're a fucking woman and you carry fat and you got a different type of ass. And your body is to never look like a man, and a man's body is not to ever to look like a woman. And more is happening, and you're seeing this shit on social media and Instagram. And it's not about our sons or whatever being attracted, because now we have to basically monitor what the fuck they're looking at and let them know a woman is not, whatever these men are trying to be, a woman is not. And these are different type of surgeries. That literally that you have women tightening their bodies so much to be like a male body that they are jeopardizing their health. and to tell women, well, you need to do this to get a man, you need to do that, then how in the fuck did our grandparents system get a man? How did my mama get a fucking man? Then you start to understand as you research them, they ranch and prostitutes. They're all orchestrated. You have new energies coming out trying to teach you how to flirt and shit like that, called the art of sex appeal. Well, what do you mean the art of sex appeal? Sex appeal is a natural thing. Nobody can just teach you sex appeal, but they're building up something else. And where's the sex appeal at? Where? It's not like you learn this shit and you go out to a bar, club, dinner, whatever, or an occasion. Everything is on fucking social media. Where the fuck you going? Then I seen some other interesting stuff that somebody 42, and I don't knock the hustle. I just don't. But it's an energy. Let me see here. It's called fantasy fitness. And basically, fantasy, and I don't knock the hustle, and I guess it's in Florida, another location. It's a Baltimore-based twerking studio. I think that's great, but that couples exercise thing and you seeing the women flipping and the men doing whatever they doing, I said, that's not good. I said, because our elders told us that you don't have no other woman in your house and you don't have no other man in your house. And that type of energy deals with pheromones and frequencies and sweat. And a woman get to opening up her legs and everything else, and that aroma come out and everything, and another man's attracted to it, and he all curious looking over there. And then I'm a woman and I'm looking at what the fuck he doing. I'm like, what the fuck he doing over there? He doing better than my man. Let me do that. That's a whole bunch of pheromones and energy. And I'm not saying whoever going to do it, but that also leads into a different type of society and also orgies. Okay, it goes back to retreats. So that's why when people were angry because I said that I believe that Sylvia Brown and the rest of these supposed medium and psychics are part of the CIA, that's what I meant. So we have to be careful with these type of cults. Okay, it's kind of on the same line as the vegan cult. What's it called? The Zazans, the Zezians. What's it called? ZIAZAZAIN. Look them up, and they were up there clowning from California to Maryland because there's this connection between the DMV and California, and they were a vegan cult, and they was around killing motherfuckers. If they see you with a piece of meat up in your fucking mouth, bitch, you's a dead. And one of them had basically pretended like she was dead, but then they look androgynous and they look like we don't know what they are. They almost look like gargoyles. So anyway, they was up there killing motherfuckers. They went in and harmed and tried to kill this man the first time that this, I guess, a witness. Well, they didn't went back and killed him real good this time that he's for real dead. So then they asses was clowning and built this cult, and they mad at AI and shit. So these are the things that's out in the universe that is like, what the fuck is going on, right? And these white folks was up there clowning. I don't know what they are, but I found it very interesting. Then they went talking to some Hindustan over there at UC Berkeley, and I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. If I was in her class, I would be totally confused because she was trying to explain this new cult. I said, you can't explain this goddamn cult. This. So when I'm talking about stuff like this, that's a cult energy. Okay, like again, I don't knock the hustle. I'm just more concerned of bringing other people in your marriage or in your relationship, and you're doing sexual frequencies that end with sweat and pheromones. And then with the Level Up Club, I know y'all like, where did that come from? No, look at the propaganda. We then got online and told all of our business, what we do sexually, frequency. We didn't told the world that black women are men. We don't have any softness. But as we didn't did this type of energy, you have new women coming into the universe right now that's literally fucking us up. I had to go through something with my spiritual constituents that I had to guide her of how to handle a situation with an Indian lady that was getting with her on some shit, on some paperwork and trying to get, get like that. You got to understand, these other cultures or people are coming in with their entities and their deities, and they're mounting that on top of them and getting at you within their deities, as you trying to have a soft life, as you trying to be a level up girl, and you have no frequencies and no energies to battle these new type of women. White girls, Asian girls, they're going over there to Africa, talk about that they Oya, all that shit, and whooping your ass, and you want to be a soft woman, you want to be submissive. What you talking about, be submissive? You crazy as fuck. Talking about inner state and understand your femininity. But you got men looking at fucking level up, talking about, I just want to involve myself in my femininity. Look at my soft, beautiful skin with my femininity. That whole level up is propaganda, and that was to develop a different type of subculture. And to make women, especially black women, believe that we're less than what we're supposed to be. Bullshit. Did you see that goddamn Robin Roberts on that damn Good Morning America? And what's that song called? What's it called? Boots on the Ground? Did you see how she was stomping? I said, she black today. I want to go back to Tina Knowles with her ass on that Jennifer Hudson and all that red. That's a evil light-skinned woman right there. That's that light-skinned woman so evil that she got blue and gray irises. You could see that shit. That shit so, and you looking at her, you like, ooh. I don't want to hear about no colorism. I know about them light-skinned women. Them type of light-skinned women are vicious as fuck, and they do some cold work. And I said, she looked like the type that have a whole bunch of mirrors surrounding her, and she's and she's talking to a demon called Mare. What's it called? Mare Lygos. And I was like, she's like, oh, demon Mare Lygo, what do you want from me? I want you to eat that human leg. And she get to eating that shit like fucking corn on the cob. And she just licking her fingers. Isn't that what that, am I tripping? Tina Knowles look like that she eats like fucking human legs like it's corn on the cob? Allegedly. I'm just talking. And then I started thinking about Mira. I said, God damn it, that song by Diana Ross, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. That bitch was up there doing fucking work with mirrors. See, it's a difference. I'm not talking about just a mirror. I'm talking about mirrors, because Anne Rice have a whole bunch of mirrors. And, before she died, when she believed she was a vampire. So I said, oh shit. So who was Diana Ross talking to? Because Aries is good for that type of, I call that voodoo witchcraft work, like Shaka Khan. And you seen that crazy ass Halle Berry was up there talking about that she manifested shit. She manifests her ass being a hoe, because we already know what she does. And did you guys hear about that damn story over there in that good Seattle? This is a long one. Seattle, about them two white men who intentionally was targeting mothers and would pay mothers to have them watch them have sex with their children. That's the whole energy. Or sometimes they'll even kidnap them. Yeah, that's going on in Seattle, Washington. Look that shit up. Are you seeing this shit of the uprooting of the Hebrew Israelites? And now they're supposed to be a terrorist racist group? Okay. Did you see that shit with Burner? And that Burner Boy and Busta Rhymes eating pizza, and then they whipped out a fucking gay fan. But but that Burner Boy is supposed to be with that what's her name? Chloe Haley? Is it Chloe Bailey? That's a socialite. I said that girl ain't no fucking socialite. But I have to go back to the energies of Detroit when that whole thing with the woman leaving her kids for 5 years, and all them pizza boxes that were in there, and we not getting, that was trafficking. that they were not her kids. They were some trafficked children, and motherfuckers was coming feeding them pizza, allegedly, mules or whatever they want to be. How come we're not looking at that whole story again? Because the whole buildup of the pizza box is what really got me. All them pizza boxes was piled up in the house. And did you see that shit with Trina husband messing, like, being a cis boy and harassing Bobby Lights over something? I don't know. And I was like, what's going on with Bobby Lights? I've seen him in person. I've seen him and Tommy. I've talked about that. And I was like, what's going on? Because I was just watching. Tommy mean as fuck. And she's as mean as fuck. And I was watching Bobby Lights. He just so want to be seen. But he's not healthy right now. He is not healthy. That's all I got to say. Then we got this shit going on with Pope Francis. Look, that Pope Francis, he didn't see the devil. See, the devil gonna come back to get him. Now they saying that he really died on February 24th. So I don't know what type of games they're playing right now. Like I said, they might be doing a Queen Elizabeth effect. But ever since he opened up the Jubilee doors and that holy doors and his eyes got big, now I do believe he's seen something. Because when you older and you close to death, you see shit that you don't think you're supposed to see, but nobody else can see it. Even the occultists can't see what you can see. Like, and I learned that even when people are very much, and it is true, when they're close to death, they're not hallucinating. They're really seeing these energies. And I remember when my mom, she was seeing her best friend and everybody, and I was like, what? And she'll be like talking to them, Then a week later, she dead. So, it's just what it is. So the Pope, he didn't see the devil, and he was scared. See, people don't take that shit seriously until they die. Then they see them things. So he didn't open up a whole fucking portal. He didn't open up the hell of Jesus and shit like that down there with Lucifer. And he didn't uprooted the gargoyles, because I'm going to tell you something. At that damn Oscars, that Oscars was a whole bunch of flying gargoyles. My spiritual constituents, I kept saying, I said, they look like angels from hell. Everybody, she said gargoyles. I said, there you go, gargoyles. Because even when I looked at Devontae, or what you guys call him, Tank, and that fight that happened this weekend with that, I think, Roach, all of them look like gargoyles. I said, God damn it. These people are not out here looking like no fucking aliens. Now, they didn't unleash them holy doors. And we seeing the gargoyles. They're lying about them aliens. These are fucking gargoyles that we're just looking at. Because that whole Oscar shit and fucking Ariana Grande having on that fucking chandelier and all that shit. Why in the fuck was Megan Thee Stallion there? This is for people who's supposed to be with some kind of sophistication. I don't know. Where were the movies out? I'm confused. What movies were out? There's nothing in the theaters. I'm confused. What the fuck was Queen Latifah doing? I don't know. This ritual. Anyway, let me get back. So, December 24th is when they open up them goddamn holy doors. Pope Francis, we don't know where he at. He probably somewhere Queen Elizabeth. But it shifted into, and understand that this is supposed to be going on. The doors are open until, supposed to be until 2026. I think January 2026. But it shifted the energies, these 5 portals, into out of the Old Testament, but now we're into the New Testament. Now it's for real devil worshiping and using Lucifer's pride, right? And we're under kind of the energies, and the energies that they're using, of course, is necromancy. See, they was giving us a hint. Necromancy, and they call it spodomancy or spodomancy. That's a whole other energy too. So we kind of have to understand what's going on. They had bestiality is going to be on the loose because that girl brought her service dog, which is called animal magnetism. That's a whole other energy going on. But once they open up these fucking portals, it opened up a whole other energy. Okay? So. And also, I'm always wondering at these Oscars, how come they never acknowledge Mario Van Peebles and Melvin Van Peebles? I like Melvin Van Peebles. I liked his movie. I like the fact that he used black people and we were introduced to Earth, Wind, and Fire in addition to Bill Cosby, again, financing it. And then are y'all hearing that story with Richard Pryor having his first child at 14? Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done. And just to come back really quick, at first I got off. So I meant to talk about this in reference to Southern University. In reference to Caleb Wilson. Someone wanted me to talk about this, a couple of people. And when I analyzed the case, and apparently it says breaking news, fraternity member was punched in the chest before dying. So, and I guess I will assume what they go through, well, I call it the initiation, but whatever the process is. Here's the thing about these fraternities, especially black fraternities. I don't know who's worse, the black ones or the white ones. And I don't know in particular what exactly went on here. But like, for example, there's a lot of sacrificial energies that go on, because we've heard about the white fraternities, especially with them picking up homeless people and sacrificing them for whatever reason. We've heard about different fraternities other fraternities that do the same thing. Now, I've heard of fraternities, of course, sexual acts go on. And then, just like I told you guys, what is it? And I think on the last video, the young man who was in a fraternity talked about he took loads. And more, what I'm hearing about this investigation of the way they beat him, they, from the inside, what they were talking about, he went through a lot, what they're talking about, of whoop ass. And the beating of objects, they talking about with Caleb Wilson. This is, and we're going to say allegedly. They said the beat down of objects and sacrificial energies. Now, here's something that's very interesting that they're not talking about. And maybe during the autopsy, if they, I don't know exactly when this happened, because they say that the university is covering it up, but a sexual assault that led into this type of abuse, meaning they should have his rectum checked, because it was some interesting energies going on of course, the beat down that happened with this fraternity, but also the sexual frequencies that went on in this fraternity that they're not talking about. And that's something to be looked into, that these rituals be very serious. And people thought that during the hazing period and so on, that they put a stop to this. But a lot of those guys, you don't even know what goes on in their head and how they lose it. But what I got out of it and the story, there were some sexual frequencies that went on that followed with the beating of the young man in the fraternity. It's very interesting how these energies will come out. Just like someone was telling me about Kendrick Johnson, that now it's coming out that he was dating the young man who was murdered and rolled up in the mat. that apparently he was dating, I guess, the girlfriend or the ex-girlfriend of the basketball player, or the person, and I'm assuming it's a white girl. I don't know, but dated the ex, and they was just talking about how the white boy and his father covered it up, and the organs were taken out, and where the private part, because his private part penis was cut off, and then they said was stuffed allegedly with paper. This is just information that's being told to me. And they said this is coming out because apparently there was a Mexican guy on the basketball team who knew what happened, but was threatened, his family, and he was threatened to not tell the truth. So we don't, so, you know, these people be out here doing all this energy. Your kids go to school, your kids go to college, but you don't expect all this other shit to follow. So with the energies, going back to Caleb Wilson, those are the energies, what I heard, and now it's coming out that they beat the fuck out of him and everything else. But there is some sexual assault and energies, and a lot of these fraternities are getting down that way. I'm not saying all, but that's something to look into. Okay? Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.